Hey Aquarius, what's going on? We are here with a timeless reading. The first card that we have out is Ace of Cups. I'm also seeing Temperance and I'm seeing the Moon. Okay. Ace of Cups is going to be an opportunity for you to connect with something, but I'm also seeing Temperance here, which means that you need to not rush through this. There's like a particular way that you need to do it. Temperance. I'm seeing the Devil on the bottom of the deck. So this can mean that if you are not reading the energy and moving along with it, it can quickly have something be going overboard. And so that's why it's very, very important for you to do this properly, to do it slowly, to not be rushing anything. Temperance means that you may have like an affinity for like going more quickly with this type of thing. Temperance is saying that you can't move quickly with this. It's something that you have to take your time with. And especially too, because I'm seeing that there's something that you're feeling out. There are things that you're not aware of that are coming to light too with the Moon. So this means like stuff that you don't know and stuff that's being discovered and stuff that you're figuring out. That's also why you have to take time. You know, I can, just like a quick example so you can understand how this may apply. Say you meet somebody, you have a new connection with them. It's like immediately off the bat you have chemistry with this person and you're like, okay, I feel like this could go somewhere. Having Temperance here says that you're in like a very delicate aspect of the phase here, because when it's just an ace, it means that there's a lot of potential, but depending on like how you nurture it and also other things that are going on, that's going to impact what happens. So yes, there is potential here. Yes, there is opportunity here, but Temperance means that you slowly have to figure out and intuitively feel like, I'm not just gonna, it's like you don't water every plant the same. You have to figure out how that plant wants to be watered. And it's like that with this connection. You have to feel out how it wants to be watered, because what I'm seeing is that how you maybe instinctively do something without reading the room of this connection may not be what it needs. And that's why you have to do it intuitively. So if you stay checking in and you stay pacing this out appropriately, that's just what the advice is for you, okay? Meaning, if you do that, the chances of this doing what it needs to do are going to be prime. But there's stuff that's still being figured out a lot to have the Moon be right here. I am seeing Two of Cups on the bottom of the deck. That's not to say that you can't trust your instinct. Obviously, it's a great thing for you to be trusting your instinct. It's to say that if you are only listening to like what you want and it's an ego-driven thing and you're not feeling out what this needs, that's when there can be a discrepancy. So yes, it's about listening to your intuition, and also it's about sort of catering to this specific thing rather than just watering it how you want and then being like, why is this happening to it now? Like, why doesn't it look healthy anymore? Why isn't it thriving anymore? Why doesn't it look happy? And it's because you have to sort of figure this out. But I'm seeing it be, it's like your guides are not giving you the instruction manual. This is like an intuitive sort of like test that you're going through essentially to figure this out, because I'm not seeing it necessarily be obvious. So you have to tend to it and be like, what does it need today? Like, does it need to be watered today? Does it need some sun? Does it need some space? Like that sort of thing. and just take your time figuring that out, because like with Temperance and the Moon, it's going to be figured out. It's not going to be like that always, but it's taking the time to spend figuring this out, especially because it seems like this is something worth it to you, right? Like this is somebody or something that you're connecting with, that it feels significant to you, and that's why it's worth it. So I'm seeing Sag and I'm seeing Pisces. If you continue checking in, this is going to be something that enhances your relationship with your intuition. But you sort of have to go digging for it, it seems, to have it be hiding behind the moon. Also too, like with the Devil, that can be immediately you feeling an attachment and being like, yeah, this is the thing for me, but it's like the Devil, because it's like something that's out of balance, and it's going for something more in like a material type of going for something, rather than it on like an energetic level or a spiritual level. So what I'm seeing is that that's also why Temperance is here too, because you know when you immediately have chemistry with somebody, because you don't have chemistry with like every single person. It can feel special and it can feel significant. However, you still need to spend time figuring out like how you feel and whether or not this is a right fit, and like, is it compatible where they are now and how they're doing things? Is that compatible with you? So you still have to go through that whole process. It definitely helps. It's an aiding factor to have something that's just naturally present as far as the connection. And also, you still have to figure out like how that fits and how that works and how you feel about it, and also how compatible or not compatible that may be with you currently where you are. Yeah, it's like sort of where your feelings are going with this. Okay. This looks like it's something that is going to, there's a lot of potential for this to continue expanding and for it to grow is what I'm seeing. Like this is definitely something supported. As things change and as things progress, something that you want to continue checking in with is like whether or not it aligns. I'm seeing that's going to be really important. So you could check in on day one and be like, yep, this aligns. But then 12 weeks out, you need to check back in again and be like, is this still actually aligning? Because you know things are like growing and expanding and changing and progressing. And so you have to stay like current or present with this as it's evolving and sort of like shaping into what it's shaping into. And it's important that you do that. I want to clarify this Seven of Wands, because this can mean just like needing to reinforce your values, or like make sure that you're showing up for yourself. Yeah, being a voice for yourself, because I'm seeing strength in the Devil again on the bottom of the deck. So this can be like, you know, when you want something to work, but it's not necessarily working, and so you're like, no, I'm just going to try to make this fit anyway, and you're doing that and you're feeling like something is just out of place. This is about making sure that you're not doing that, because it doesn't mean that anybody's wrong if something is not compatible. It means that there's either something to be worked out there can be compromising that's being done, communication is needed, and also sometimes like things just don't work out, but it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with how one person or the other person is showing up. It can just be something that doesn't really fit together. And I'm not saying that that's the case, but what I'm seeing is that your guides are saying don't create an attachment to the point where you know that something isn't compatible and you're still staying with it because of the attachment to it. Because of the attachment to something that isn't real, ultimately. Because like there's nothing wrong with, like when we speak about attachments, it's not, there's nothing wrong with feeling connected to things or feeling attached to things. Where the issue comes through and like where the devil comes through is when we're not being honest with ourselves about things. And it's like an attachment to what isn't rather than what is. So if you're like, yes, I'm attached to what is, and you're like in that state of full flow and acceptance, there's no issue with like that type of attachment. But when you have an attachment to something that actually isn't, and you're like, I'm just gonna be like, oh, like I'm seeing that this isn't working, and I'm just gonna turn away and pretend I didn't see that right there. That's where like suffering comes from. So I'm just seeing this be like a little bit of a be mindful, so you don't have to be going through this. So you make sure that you are showing up for yourself. So when you have certain values or expectations or things that you need, because this is connected with your needs too, like what allows you to feel like you're being treated how you want to be treated, and also how you're showing up. Having 7 of Wands there, it's like needing to stand up for that, even if it may be controversial or maybe you feel uncomfortable. You have to advocate for that. Otherwise, the relationship is going to feel like it's out of alignment with your values, and then you're not going to feel valued, and then it's going to impact your self-esteem. It's like this whole trickling down that it's connected with. So as you feel things expanding and shifting, keep checking in with this and make sure that it's aligned. And that means too that if you're feeling like something isn't, maybe there's something that can be worked out too. So it doesn't mean it's like the end of this situation if that happens. It can mean that, oh, I need to tend to this now. I need to do some type of maintenance. Which seems like it's the whole point. I'm seeing the World come out here. So this does mean that there's going to be a chapter that is completing. Something being accomplished as well. The World is an accomplishment. Some of you, you've been in this spot over here where there's like a connection that you made with somebody. Some of you, this is somebody you're reconnecting with. I'm seeing that there's a connection that you made with somebody. It feels reciprocal, but there was still that feeling it out and making sure with Temperance of like, does this align? Does this align? And you may have even felt a little bit guarded because you're like, I'm still making sure that it is. And now I'm seeing you go somewhere that it's like, you know that you're going somewhere, but I'm seeing it like hasn't been revealed to you actually where exactly you're going, but I'm seeing there be a new chapter that's starting. It's because you've been doing what you needed to be doing, is what I'm seeing. Okay. This new chapter is a good new chapter, okay? This isn't something where it's like a new chapter that your ego is gonna hate and your higher self's like, no, and gonna drag you through this. What I'm seeing is that this is something where you're gonna be like, wow, like I did it, I accomplished it, and now I get to move to like the next cycle, but it's a continuation of what you're doing already. It's just like the next level of it. But what I'm getting is that your guides like didn't tell you basically that you completed the work. So it's like you're graduating, but they're not telling you basically until the day before. And I'm seeing you're like bumping into the next cycle, but they weren't showing you the finish line is what I'm seeing. So it could have been something that happened where there was like, they just wanted you to be doing the process and not being focused on like when it was going to be over is what I'm seeing. So that's what it would have felt like as you were going through this. Some of you, you're about to come up on to this point where you feel like that new chapter is starting, and what you were doing led to this is what I'm seeing. But for some of you, you're not at that point yet. But you can feel like it, you can feel that it's close. But you could have been trying to figure out too what was going on, because you may not have known that that's sort of what was happening here. You could also have to like defend something is what this is feeling like too. Like if you have values that feel important to you and something was not compatible with that, as much as it may have been like really difficult for you to stand up for yourself, I'm seeing some of you like actually had to do this, and there was a closing out of a chapter because of that, and you're basically like doing a review. I'm getting a couple different like storylines here. For some of you, there was a connection that you were figuring things out with, and there was something here about your values and your standards and what you feel like is appropriate as far as the tone of a relationship. And you may have needed to like defend yourself or stand up for yourself, which is something that I'm seeing you working on doing. And it may have completed a chapter at that point, because the whole point of you going through that was for you to stand up for yourself, but in a way that's aligned with your values. So it's not you being like, you know, sometimes we stand up for ourselves like with other people, but we do it in a way that can be like hurtful, where it's like, you hurt my feelings and now I want to hurt yours. That's not what this is. What I'm seeing is that you have values, and you've become like more and more aware of that through self-awareness and you checking in. And there was a situation that you were in where you needed to sort of like stand up for that and be like, somebody else may have not agreed with that. Like you see with the 7 of Wands here, how it's like other people can feel other ways, but like this is sort of your thing that you're defending over here. And it has to do with your values and like how you want to be treated and what feels fair to you and that type of thing. And so it can be like unpopular opinion, but this is how I feel, and like these are my values. It's something like that. And I'm seeing it like kicked you immediately into a completion of a cycle. So your guides were like, yes, you did it. I'm seeing this be a really big deal. And now I'm seeing that you're getting like a review basically of what had been happening, what you were completing. Some of you though, something may, like I don't know what exactly happened within this situation, but what I'm seeing is that you're getting information about the cycle that you completed, which is like a good thing. Like you were supposed to do this. So you did everything that you were supposed to do. Now you're like learning more. I'm seeing this is connected with Saturn for you. And also you may be wanting to get more information about it because you may be sad about how something turned out. But it feels like it's not the end. And like, I don't know how you're going to take that. I don't know how you feel about that, but it seems like this is just like how things are for right now. And things may not be staying like this. So just keep that in mind too. You are meant to continue processing, but something feels very open-ended still. Yeah, I'm getting something about justice, which can mean that something was going on that was like out of balance, or that you were like, it's not right for me to like continue doing this or to stay here or whatever. And so needing to do what you felt like was the right thing within a situation. But I'm getting that it wouldn't have been something easy. Again, because like we keep seeing the devil, right? Some of you may have Capricorn in your chart too. I'm also seeing Leo. It could have been challenging for you because there was like an attachment to this person, but you had to sort of like overcome that in order for you to show up for yourself. So you needed to be what you needed to be, basically. Instead of being like, I need you to be what I need to be, and they weren't. It was about like you doing that for yourself. but it's like was not something easy at all, because I'm seeing there was like a lot of tethers between you and this person. As I said before, like I don't know what exactly is going on with you guys, but what I am seeing is that things look very, very, very open-ended regardless of what's currently going on right now. I'm seeing there be a lot of open energy currently that's connected between you and this person, even though you may feel differently than that. It also seems to like what you may not be seeing is the way that you impacted this person too, because I'm seeing there be like a separation in some way energetically between you and this person. But they're like learning from you standing up for yourself. And I don't know like when exactly this is going to be, but I'm seeing somebody also feel sad about the way that things turned out. And I'm saying it like that because, again, like I'm seeing this as open-ended. So things, even if you went through an ending or something like that, energetically things are still very much open-ended here. So I wouldn't be calling this like the end of a cycle with you and this person. Well, even though there is an end of a cycle, it doesn't mean all your cycles with this person are done now. But there's time being taken for everything to sink in, essentially. I'm seeing, too, a lot of Jupiter here as well. I'm seeing Jupiter, I'm seeing Saturn, Pisces, and Sagittarius. Yeah, what you had to do, I'm seeing it feel stressful, but you knew that you had to step up. See, you just like really got real with yourself here. I'm hearing made up your mind. I'm also seeing too that you were like patient as well. Like it may have taken you some time, but you could have gotten to a point where you felt like you had to then take action for some reason. But I'm getting that it was like a bit of a process with Temperance here. So this may have been something that unfolded like over a while. You could be spending a lot of time reflecting now, because what I'm seeing Hermit and I'm seeing Hanged Man. So this means that there's like a lot that's being reflected on, a lot that's being realized, like new ideas and understandings that you're having constantly, like as you're reflecting on this. So it's kind of like the gift that keeps giving, because I'm seeing just a lot of insights that are being gained. I'm seeing also too that it seems like this is a like period of rest for you, so you could feel like you're spending time recharging, spending time doing things that you like, spending time with yourself, trying to reconnect with things that make you happy, and also going through something that feels kind of heavy. You can also be thinking about the future a lot too. It's like in some ways I'm seeing that you're like reconnecting with your pursuit of happiness, but in other times I'm also seeing you feel like you're really struggling with things, but it may sort of oscillate around. Like I'm not seeing you constantly be in Nine of Swords and feel like a wreck. I'm seeing it just be like sometimes you're feeling like that, and then also sometimes you feel like you're where you're supposed to be, and then sometimes you're trying to figure things out. You know, it's like this whole process that's happening here. Maybe recovering a bit from this cycle. Because it seems too like there was a heavy weight that you were carrying too in the last cycle, and now is a time to kind of reflect rather than feeling like you need to be in the middle of it taking action. But I am seeing that there's going to be a progression of stuff. Yeah, some of you, you're like figuring out your your path, your purpose, like that type of thing. I'm seeing something that you could even feel like you're spending time prioritizing like why you're here and what you're meant to be doing and all of that. I'm seeing things go well. You may also, some of you too, you're going to find that it's important for you to connect with like support that you have, either support that you already have, or you're going to be connecting in some way where you're going to like build some type of support system for you within your life. Okay, I'm looking at Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces. I am here in Cancer. I'm seeing Saturn and I'm seeing Jupiter and Neptune. Okay, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.